What is an icon? According to Webster's dictionary, an icon is a person regarded as a representative symbol of something. To many around the world, one of the greatest icons of today is Queen Elizabeth II. She represents Great Britain, the Commonwealth, tradition, and elegance. She has been an icon for at least 65 years, which is the length of her reign. For many of us, if not all of us in this class, don't know a Great Britain or a history book without Queen Elizabeth. She has reigned for double my lifetime and then some. So you may ask yourself, why is it important for me to be informed about a 90-year-old queen? Through studying her life, you can't help but learn the history of other countries and the goings-on all over the world over these past 90 years. She has lived through and worked in a world war. She has traveled all over the world, and she has sat on the right hand of many dignitaries whose decisions shape the world we live in today. On a personal note, I have always been fascinated with the Queen. She took on the role at 25, my age, as Queen, and I can't imagine what that must feel like, what that responsibility was. I believe we can learn from her how to be devoted to a cause and how to share our love with all of those that we come in contact with. We will discuss her many charities, her ever-polarized family, her service as head of state, her devotion, and her timeless presence through these past decades. Let's begin with learning more about her family, since many of us will be familiar with those names. Queen Elizabeth was born Princess Elizabeth Alexandra Mary on April 21, 1926, to Prince Albert and Princess Elizabeth. According to BBC News, as far as royal lines go, Elizabeth was not destined to be queen. But her uncle, Prince Edward, abdicated the throne so that he could marry his mistress, making Elizabeth's father king. Her father chose to go by the name King George VI to emphasize his own father's name and to restore some confidence into the monarchy. In 1947, Princess Elizabeth married Prince Philip. Prince Philip continued his work in the Navy, and Princess Elizabeth enjoyed a normal life as a wife to a successful Navy officer. In 1948, they had a son, Prince Charles, and in 1950, they had a daughter, Princess Anne. In the winter of 1953 to 1952, King George was very ill. He was too ill to attend some of his trips abroad, so Princess Elizabeth and Prince Philip took on this duty. They went to Africa and Australia. While the princess was away, her father passed away. On the 7th of February 1952, she returned to London as Queen. Her coronation was on the 2nd of June 1953. The Queen rode in a gold carriage to Westminster Abbey in London. With the crown placed on her head by the Archbishop, she promised to rule by the laws and the customs of her peoples in the British Empire and Commonwealth. So, as an unsuspecting mother of two, she became Queen Elizabeth. She today has a total of 4 children, 8 grandchildren, and 7 great-grandchildren. I got this information from the Royal Household, which is her website. I would like to share with you Queen Elizabeth's family tree. This will be where you may know some of the names. But for sake of time, I am just going to show you the line to the throne. Here is Queen Elizabeth, her husband, Prince Philip, Duke of Edinburgh, their son, Prince Charles, who married Princess Diana. They later divorced. She later passed away. He then married Camilla, who was the Duchess of Cornwall. Princess Diana and Prince Charles had a son, William, Duke of Cambridge, who married Catherine, Duchess of Cambridge, and they have since had a son, Prince George of Cambridge. Queen Elizabeth is a great example of service. In March 1945, during World War II, the 18-year-old princess joined the women's branch of the Army. A&E biography explained that 1 month later, after she joined the Army, she passed her test of driving and repair for the Army trucks. What an important time this must have been for her to serve her country. She was able to work alongside military women, in her title and rank not mattering, that she was able to serve her country to the best of her ability. I'm sure this helps her now in her role as she salutes the military and supports them. Guardian News reported that the Queen is patron to 510 charities in Britain alone, including cancer research and British Red Cross. Having the Queen as patron is a vital publicity for the work of these charities. It allows their enormous achievements and contributions to society to be recognized. With her age, she has let some of these responsibilities go down to the Duchess of Cornwall and the Duchess of Cambridge. The Queen's job, if you will, is the head of state of the United Kingdom. She is over Queen of the Commonwealth countries, which is made up of 54 countries. Most have links to the British Empire. Today, they help one another in various ways. She visits Commonwealth countries and goes to these meetings to visit Commonwealth leaders. She is also head of the Church of England, and judging by her Christmas broadcast that she gives each year that I have watched, I can see that she has a great testimony in Jesus Christ. The Queen does not make laws, that's Parliament's job. When the Queen opens Parliament, which is once a year, she reads a speech written by her government. She meets with the Prime Minister once a week in a meeting called the Audience. I feel it is safe to say that the Queen is able to give great advice and years of experience to those Prime Ministers, though we don't know what goes on in those meetings for sure. The Queen has a great love and devotion for her role. As Queen, Elizabeth can't retire. Her devotion is something fierce, and though there may be many signs in recent years that she's slowing down a bit, because she is 90, the Queen seems to have this sense of devotion to her calling in life. Even now, she spends part of her day at a desk reading where she gets about 300 letters every day. She's able to read through those, and staff helps her, but she's able to do most all of it. Encyclopedia World explained that the Queen welcomes world leaders to the United Kingdom by giving banquets. Every year she travels thousands of miles all over the United Kingdom and to Commonwealth countries. She does walkabouts so that she can chat with the hundreds of people who line the streets to get a glimpse of her. Her most recent visit was Friday to Norwich, which is about 3 hours drive from her home or palace in London. She opened an exhibit there about Fiji, where she has met the leaders many times and visited Fiji in 1953. As I mentioned earlier, she gives a Christmas broadcast every year where she's able to give a spiritual message and also able to share the love that she has for her people. Because she was coronated by an archbishop, I believe that she believes, as well as her people believe, that she has been given this call by God, and she takes this role very seriously. I feel as I have learned more about her life, I can see how she has strived to fulfill this role and has put all of her time and devotion and love to her people. I feel that she has showed selflessness many times when problems like divorce, scandals, or even death of her daughter-in-law, Princess Diana, have been published all over the media. In those hard times when duty calls, she was able to put her emotions aside and address her country. Many people have given her a bad rap because she's not able to show emotions like sadness or anger, but I feel like this is a tremendous strength. To be able to face difficult times ahead and still fulfill her duties to the best of her abilities and doing all of this with a smile on her face is a great feat. In conclusion, I hope that you will leave with a bit more knowledge of this great icon, Queen Elizabeth II, than you came with. I feel that we can learn from Queen Elizabeth's example of how to be devoted to a cause, like when she joined World War II's war effort or being patron of many charities. We can learn how to share love with all of those we come in contact by fulfilling our own roles and our own callings in life, and doing all of this with a smile on our face. I would like to end with her own words that she said as a 21-year-old princess, words I feel that she has lived up to. She said, "I declare before you all that for my whole life, whether it be long or short, be devoted to your service and the service of our great imperial family to which we all belong.